Hello everybody, good morning, Friday morning, and it's been my great privilege to have led devotions during this past week. Do you ever think that God could use you? Now, think about that seriously, that God brought you to this part of the world for a purpose, and that purpose goes beyond simply retirement. That God brought you here because he had something that he wanted you to do here. In other words, your life in Hermanus has more to do with simply watching television and drinking coffee and trying to fill in the hours of the day. That God has work for you. Now, for some people, that's intimidating. And I draw your attention to the story of Moses. Moses was 80. I think of that one, 80, when God spoke to him in the desert of Sinai out of that bush. Now, at the age of 80, most of us are thinking, I'm going to take life very, very easy. But in fact, it was the start of a new chapter in Moses' life. And he said to Moses, "You're to go to Pharaoh and say to Pharaoh, 'Let my people go.' And then Pharaoh will eventually relent, and you are going to lead my people across the Red Sea, through the desert, and almost into the promised land." Now, that's what I want you to think about. Because instinctively we say, God uses the ministers at the church, the pastors at the church, and those very good Christians we know of. But actually my question to you is, can God use you? And the answer to that is yes. Now instinctively you say, well, how can God use me? And we make up 101 reasons as to why it can be everybody else that God can use except you. Well, Moses, when God called him, had 101 reasons as to why he shouldn't be responding to the call of God. And then God said to him, now listen to this question, what do you have in your hand? Well, what did Moses have in his hand? He had a staff. That's what he had in his hand. Something that he used every day of his life. And God said, right, you are going to use that staff. The very thing that you've gotten so used to, the thing that you've mastered, the thing that is so much part of you that you barely remember that you're holding a staff. So can God use you? The answer has to be yes. How can he use you? With those gifts that he has given to you, not to the person sitting next to you, not to the person down the road, not to the pastors at the church, but that he has given you. Wouldn't it be wonderful if this morning you very simply said, in response to that question of God to Moses, what do you have in your hand, Moses? That you might say, Lord, please use me. God be with you.